Morning, everybody, or evening on the other side of the world. Hope everyone is doing wonderfully today. I've started drawing just before the stream so I could warm up a little bit. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the cover art creation for the Erudia Setting guide. This is going to be book cover 2. And today we are working on the final drawing for the painting. Final drawing is an intermediary step. I'm establishing the basically the skeleton of the painting. This is where all of the form shaping goes in. And from here, we will go to the underpainting, which will be digital. But before I get too deep into that, hello, Chrysanthemum, welcome, welcome. Nonsensically, welcome back. Jensen was talking about food, which is a favorite topic of mine nowadays because I cook a lot. So I'm hoping you're enjoying the Italian meal. Unfortunately, there are no Olive Gardens near me because I'm in Thailand. No Olive Gardens in Thailand. So no unlimited breadsticks for me. Assuming that's still a thing. I actually really did like the unlimited breadsticks, but to be fair, it's probably been about 10 years since I've been to an Olive Garden. I think last time I came to the States for a visit, I went to one. Maybe? Or maybe just before I left, I don't know. But there's some very good Italian restaurants nearby, so I'm not missing out. We don't have any Red Lobsters here either, unfortunately, Jensen. We did recently get in my city a Taco Bell, which I am not ashamed to admit I have had a couple of times, just for the nostalgia factor. But no Red Lobster. Actually, I make a lot of copycat recipes in my kitchen because there's stuff that I really want that I miss that I can't get here. So I've done biscuits recently, but not cheddar biscuits. That would be a fun project. Hi, Erudia. Welcome, welcome. But it works out for me because I actually spend a lot of time cooking nowadays. Right now, by the way, I'm working on the mom character. Let me give you guys a kind of a overview of where I am with this. I'm working on the characters. I have to zoom out a little bit on this camera. Maybe I'll just shift it. So here is the entirety. I've got everything kind of mapped out in really light lines. You can kind of see I've got everything in there. I just haven't developed it. So on this side we have the characters. I'm working on them first. And on this side we're going to have the foul beasts, the Rudy Poos sitting on the rocks. And in the back we have our dragon. There's the giant tree. I don't know if you guys can see that. and a couple of things in the background for scale so that that tree looks really big. And I've actually already drawn these characters once, so I'm working from a tiny bit of, muscle memory, but also some reference, and I have a reference pulled up as well on my computer for all these characters. Here is the the Rudy Poo that is terrified and cowering, and that has just squirted our lizard folk character here and royally pissed him off. And then we have one who's just kind of going like and like skedaddling that way. So we're gonna try to get as much of this into the drawing today as we can. See how it goes. There might be periods where I'm a little bit quiet because I really have to, especially if I'm drawing eyes or faces, I really have to focus to make sure that I don't screw it up, which happens sometimes. But yeah, hopefully it should be fun. Yeah, that's my. I don't know if you guys remember Futurama. Do you guys remember Zoidberg? And whenever he like skedaddles off somewhere, he goes like. That's my just like. That's just the quintessential like creature skedaddling sound. I think it should be. I think it should be mandatory for all creatures to make that sound when they are scared off. Okay. All right, let's get back to drawing this mum. I'm doing his face right now. Are there any other chef hobbyists or aspiring chefs in the chat? Anybody like to cook at home a lot? I was actually really excited because last night I made something that was so good. I've been saving it for a while. I made Mexican beef tongue tacos in my slow cooker, and they were so freaking good. And apologies to any vegetarians in the chat, but beef tongue, if you haven't tried it, is delicious. And I think if it weren't for the fact that it was a tongue, it would be like the most popular cut of beef ever. But you got to slow cook it. You have to slow cook it because if you don't slow cook it, it's really tough. But if you do slow cook it, it's like super, super tender and super beefy. And it's just like melting your, it's like brisket, but like even more tender than brisket. Oh, Jensen, it's actually your profession. Are you actually a chef? Are you actually a cook? That's awesome. What cuisine do you specialize in a cuisine or like what's your day-to-day cooking menu that you do? I know I don't really apologize to vegetarians. I'm sorry, vegetarians. I think meat is delicious. Meat is delicious and it's good for you. Sorry, not sorry. If it's a good quality. We recently started maybe like a year ago, found a really good supplier for grass-fed steaks organic pork, and so we eat steaks a lot. It's like a very like typical dinner for us. It's just like slap a couple steaks on the cast iron and get that good sear, and then something on the side. Have you made anything that you're really proud of recently, Jensen? I was super proud of my beef tongue tacos. I even made the tortillas, actually. Tortillas are really, really simple to make. Who knew? It was my first time making them. Okay. I'm just like, okay, draw. I'm thinking about food, but I should be thinking about drawing. So give me a minute. Let me focus on this for a bit. I'm gonna try to tackle this hand. I okay, I just have to like talk about this for a minute. I love my cast iron. Mine was gifted to me, actually. And ever since I started cooking with it, I have not gone back to Teflon or to like the typical pans. It's just like there's no comparison. The heat distribution, the sear, like making pan sauces is so good. Um, yeah, I'm obsessed. So I use it for everything. Um, Unfortunately, twice somebody has washed it by mistake, and I was very upset because it takes so long to get a good seasoning on there. But I've built it back up. I can do eggs on my cast iron now. I've got stainless steel like soup pots and stock pots. That's what I use. But I've given up on anything. I'm giving up on Teflon coated stuff because it's just eh, you know. I have seen the light. Cupcakes and truffles. Though I don't know how many people ask if there are truffles. Okay, yeah, like what kind of truffles? Chocolate truffles or like truffle mushrooms? Yeah, that's pretty concerning, Jensen. That's pretty elementary knowledge. Okay, enough talk about food. Let's try to get some detail into this mum character. I'll start with his face. I'm trying to get some of those wrinkles in. So, what I'm trying to do here, I'm not super concerned about shading or form because we're going to handle that in the underpainting and painting stages. I should say form rendering, like volume. What I'm very concerned about in this stage is getting the right structure in all of these characters, like making sure that the perspective is right, making sure that everybody's the right size, making sure the details are approximately correct. And just that I know what everything like looks like, which is kind of a funny thing to say, but because at every stage I'm kind of Um, I'm my brain is not working at what's that word? At every stage, I'm figuring out what things look like more and more, if that makes sense. But at the drawing stage is I think when most of that work happens. Everything afterwards is just refinement. All right, I'm gonna try to tackle this hand. So let me pull up my reference. You want to know how I got the reference for the body positions of these characters? The answer is I took a lot of pictures of myself in the studio holding props and making funny faces. And then I shop them all together into my reference file, which I'm using Procreate. You can use anything. Might have to return to this hand actually because I'm not sure yet what he's holding. In my reference photo I think it's a sword. In my reference photo I have him holding I am holding a pole like it's a sword, but I have to like double check what his weaponry is. I wanted him to hold something. He's got these like woody trunk, like bark-like protrusions coming out of his body, which is pretty cool. He's a pretty cool character. He's gonna be really fun to paint. All right, let's switch to my 3H. If I'm having trouble visualizing it, then I can just go down to a lighter pencil and just try to get the structure in there a little bit better. I think I want him to hold a sword. Let's just go ahead and do that. Let's take a second. I'm going to draw a sword here. in an approximate position. But something like that. But I think if he's holding it, you're only going to see the end of the pommel, right? So you might only see like something like that. Chrysanthemum asks, how do you get the perspective on the person pointing behind them all? How do you get the proportions right? That one was really tricky. Answer is I took a picture of myself. I took a picture of myself. I would be very embarrassed to show you guys these pictures. But yes, I took a picture of myself, like just pointing backward, and the rest of it is just kind of approximation. I made the composite with I found a model of a ship on Sketchfab, which is like it's like a marketplace for 3D assets, and they have a really cool 3D viewer. So I got the ship in the approximate perspective that I wanted, and then I took pictures of myself and added them all in, and you can kind of tell where they should go and how big they should be um, when you have the model there. At least I can. At first, I actually made the pointing guy a little bit too small, but then I compared the heads. Like, oh, his head's like way too small for being really close up on the boat. So I had to make him bigger in my model. I mean, in my comp sketch. But yeah, photos. Photos are where it's at. If I don't know how something looks, I find a photo online, or I take a picture myself. That is the only way to do it. If I don't know kind of what I'm doing in this section, just going back to a lighter pencil, like this is a 3H. It's super light, and sketching in the rough form helps a lot, because when I draw over it in the darker pencil, you're not really gonna, it's just gonna build on the texture. It's gonna look really nice. And then I can kind of feel out details, like these are where the wrinkles in the fingers are. This is where these are where the knuckles are. So that helps a little bit. And I can kind of get a little bit of texture in there too. So he's got a lot of this kind of barky texture all over his body. So I can just add that in. His pectoral muscles are also they're like they're kind of easy to shape, actually, because where the muscle fibers would be are just, you can just replace those with lines. So I've studied a lot of anatomy. So And sometimes when I'm not sure, I have a little anatomy doll next to me that helps me remember, like, in what direction the muscle fibers go in this particular muscle. All that super nerdy fun stuff that makes drawing so interesting. Okay, I'm doing pretty good on him. Let's. Yeah. Hey, Cajun Corey, welcome. Um, Now I'm sketching in his shield. Okay, I'm going to talk about food again. So I have this I haven't made a sourdough yet, but I have the sourdough culture in my fridge and I've just been keeping it alive. I've been kind of been too intimidated to make an actual sourdough bread, but I've been using the culture to make all these other yummy things. Like yesterday I made sourdough waffles, and sometimes I make sourdough pancakes. And you can put the culture in like muffins and it's really good. Makes everything, gives it a great texture. Highly recommend keeping one around. But I don't have a Dutch oven yet, so it's one reason I haven't actually made a sourdough. It's also really easy to buy here, so I don't really like, we have a bakery nearby and they have really good sourdough, and it's quite a good price. So I don't have a lot of like monetary uh incentive for making my own sourdough. It would just be for the fun of it. But I can make muffins and waffles. Hmm. Yeah, nonsensically. I love sourdough bread, and it's actually really good for you. There's something about the way that the culture breaks down the partially breaks down some of the gluten structure. I've heard that it can be a lot less hard on your digestive system, especially if you're sensitive to it. So it's supposed to be good for you, like better for you than like just regular bread. But it's like very tricky to make. It involves a lot of steps. And I just don't have I don't have like admittedly a lot of like days in where I can just well, I guess I should say multiple days in a row. Because sometimes like making a sourdough can be like an all day affair. Like you have to kind of wait around, I think, for your leaven to be ready, and then you have to kind of just be around. And I have like sometimes like I'll have a day or so where I can be in the kitchen all day, but if it spans multiple days, like that's just not practical. So I can't do that. Yeah. Sorry, Jensen. It's I let my kefir culture die. I'm really into I'm I still am really, but I've just kind of gotten lazy about it. Just like all of those like fermenty type foods that are supposed to be really good for you. So I had a really good kefir culture going a while back, but I let it die. And I've been really good with my sourdough culture because it's a little easier to keep alive. Like just taking it out and like I don't know, putting some flour and water in there. I don't I don't do it on time all the time, but it's been pretty resilient, so I've been kind of lucky in that regard. It's kind of like plants, isn't it? It's like if you're not really good at plants, it's going to be kind of hard to keep a culture alive. Um, I used to be very good at plants before I had kids, and now my husband is the one that keeps all of our plants alive because I just don't have uh I don't have a head for it. I don't have like any mental bandwidth for plants at the moment. But our house is well, I do an okay job with the ones in my studio, but they are very purposely super low maintenance plants. I used to have quite a good green thumb. I used to like really you know, try to cultivate like a lush rainforest on our patio. We live in a condo, so we don't have a garden or anything, but I tried to make a green space on our patio and did pretty okay on that. And then baby number one came, and a lot of them died. And we kind of just kept buying plants. And then my husband set up an automatic watering system, which was amazing. He made it himself, and it just like keeps the patio misty. Like every 20 minutes, it just like goes brrr, and there's like a little a mist that keeps it moist, and that was a game changer for the plants in our patio. He's a programmer, so he like used a Raspberry Pi and all sorts of technical things. I only understand a little bit to do it. And he built an app. I have an app on my phone for controlling my plants. It's very cool. He's very clever about that stuff. Nonsensically, how do you unalive an air plant? That's pretty impressive, actually. No, it's okay. I have unalived cactuses, and those are like pretty much impossible to kill unless you absolutely forget about them for like 5 months, and that's what I did. I had a bunch of succulents on my windowsill, and I just forgot about them. Yeah, my great shame. Yes, like someone is definitely someone else's mom. Yes, I am definitely. Yeah. My hobbies nowadays are all like mom hobbies, mom hobbies and like trad wifey hobbies, which I love. I tried to do knitting. I tried to take up like no crocheting, and I wasn't good at it. I just didn't have the patience actually. I think I need to like I don't know, dopamine detox a little bit more before I try crocheting. Okay, I'm going to let's see where we are. We got that shield kind of penciled in. Um, try to like pencil in a little bit more of this boat, this ship that they're on. Hey, Michaela. Good to have you back. Thanks for hanging out with us. Ooh, chrysanthemum embroidery. I years and years and years ago, and I'm saying I'm like I was a kid or a preteen or something. I was really into cross stitching. I used to buy those kits at Walmart. And I did quite a few of those. I kind of thought about picking it up again. I thought it would be fun, but it would have to be a kit. I don't think I have much creative like bandwidth left over for anything beyond that. But just something to wind down, like at the end of the day when you just want to turn your brain off and it's hard to, just something, I don't know. Cooking does a lot of that for me though. It kind of when I get out of the studio sometimes and I'll just go make dinner, it kind of helps to like turn that like super like logical part of my brain off. And then at the end of the day, I'm just like wiped. And I want to just like watch movies and doom scroll, but I know that's not healthy. So we need to find healthy alternatives. Yeah, those kits are great. They are nice and easy. They are holding your hand. All you have to do is follow along. I'm measuring my boat. Let's see here. Let me move this. Hmm. Gonna have to move this line. That's a bad line. Hey, Fantastic Sarcastic. No worries. I hope your nap has refreshed and rejuvenated you. Naps can be very hard to come by. Right. I am I am guessing a little bit on this boat. Bad line. Get out of here. We don't want you here. My hand wants to draw this line again, but in my reference it's in a different place. What do I do? Well, sometimes you just have to make it believable. Sometimes stuff just doesn't quite line up right. And the trick then is to not draw attention to it or alter it somehow so that it's believable. So I don't know what's going on yet with this part of the boat. So we will just move on somewhere else. We will just, we'll do some more character drawing. Fantastic Sarcastic. I spent 24 hours with Sevi, Warlock, and Nozaku. I know those names don't mean much to you, but chat understands I need more than a nap. So they are, so we're talking about high energy people then? High energy situations? I know Sevi. Sevi's got a lot of energy. I'm just gonna do some really like basic lines there. Okay, I am going to, let's work on our mum a little bit more. I'm pretty happy with these lighter lines, so I think we're gonna go in and do some stuff that's a little bit more definitive. So I've got his character reference pulled up on my computer. And I'm going to try to fill in some of the occlusions, the dark areas where no light reaches. If I can zoom in a little bit more. You guys can see a little bit more detail now. Yeah, sometimes I just really have to focus. Sorry if you worry that something's frozen. Some stuff is just really is a little bit hard to do on stream. Like if I picture my brain, and my brain's got all this RAM, some parts just take up all of my RAM, and then like I just that's like all I can do. I can't think about anything else. Like um like if my brain is a render engine and I'm thinking about shadows and where that has to be, it's like 100% of my brain is thinking about that. And so I can't talk or think about anything else while I'm doing that, or I'm gonna mess it up. But actually it's really good practice. Like being on stream and just switching back and forth is really good practice because I really enjoy streaming. But yeah, if I just kind of like wander off, feel free to poke me a little bit. Okay. I'm gonna leave him like that for now. And let's work on Godwin for a little bit. I'm gonna go back to my trusty 3H and just kind of trace over the work I've done so far. And pull up his hold on. I need some tea. Thank you, nonsensically. I hope it's relaxing. It can be like very intense for me in my brain, so I hope that it's nice for other people. It's chill. I hope this is a pretty chill stream that you guys can just come and have some tea with me. And we can draw together and chit chat. We're not like those other streams. We're relaxing. No fantastic sarcastic. No trolls allowed. Resist it. Resist the urges. I wish I could. Let's see here. Yeah, streaming is really fun for me. It's a kind of like, well, I'm in my studio all the time and I'm by myself and I can be in my pajamas. I'm not usually, but I can be. I could just be like a mess most of the time, but then when I stream with you guys, it's kind of like working with other people again, which is nice. Way many moons ago, I was a graphic designer and I worked for a tech company and I did enjoy, you know, working around people back then. So sometimes I miss that social aspect of my job. My job is very like solitary in many ways. I get a lot of social stuff in other parts of my life, like with the kids, but professionally, not so much anymore. So it's really nice to hang out with people who are interested in art and to talk to people who are interested in art. Oh, Jensen, are we talking about that news headline with the streamer and the dog and the shot caller? I heard about, or is this another innocent dog torture stream? Oh Lord. No, we will only be nice to puppies on my stream. If I could have a puppy, which we can't because we live in a condo, but we really want one. But there'll be no puppy torture on our stream. Nugget, what do you have to say about all this? Okay. Guys, I am out of the loop. I'm also just like barely aware of headlines, so I did hear about that one though, the dog collar thing on like what is it, Hassan Piker's podcast, which I don't watch. I just heard about it. Not cool. But okay, let's get some knuckles on there. Knuckles. These arms are like a little bit murky, so I need to define them a little bit before I can draw them. Guys, give me a minute. I'm gonna run to the bathroom. Hold up. And we're back. Sorry about that, you guys. I had too much tea. I also like hibiscus tea, Jensen. Where did I put my... Oh, there we go. Okay. Godwin. You guys, there are pigeons that like to roost in the air conditioning unit just outside my window, and they are watching me, and I swear they are up to evil. Periodically they'll just like go and they'll just like smack into my window and startle me. Oh, pigeons. There it is again. It's skittering on my window. Get out of here. So pigeons are adorable. They're really cute as far as like bird aesthetics go, but these pigeons next to my window, they are like evil. They are evil and they are nasty. I swear to God. Out of here. I wish you guys could see this. I think it's trying to build a nest in there or something. I don't know. It keeps coming back for more. Normally, normally I like animals a lot, but these pigeons, like they build their nests right outside my window, and their nests just like stink. And they like it's a family friendly channel, so I won't curse, but they poop all down the side of the building. And sometimes when we park our truck downstairs, we have to cover it because like the pigeons will just coat it. So I can't open my we have really really lovely weather now in Chiang Mai, and I can't open my window because I will just get like a miasma of pigeon poop. Anyway, rant over. So Godwin's got these gloves. Let's draw those in. Yeah, I think these are just big city problems though. Pigeons are a fact of life here. You guys had barn swallows in your entryway? Yeah. It's the poop. The birds themselves are, they can be really cute. I think pigeons are actually adorable with their like bright colors and their big dopey heads, but they're just gross. If I was like into raising birds or something. Like there are people who raise fancy pigeons in cages and they're really cute. They're really cute, but different context. Yeah, don't feel bad, Jensen. It's back. Thing is like trying to get in. Yeah, they're trying to build a nest in there. Go away, pigeon. Go away, bird. Okay. Yeah, aren't swallows like Swallows are like really territorial, especially when they have nests around. I remember when I was in college, we lived at in their neighborhood. We had some, I think they were swallows. I'm not entirely sure, but they would dive bomb people and dogs actually. When we would take our dogs out for a walk, they would like dive bomb us. What about crows, Jensen? Is that like on, you know how on Game of Thrones they send a, oh, no, they send ravens, not crows. Can ravens actually do that, or was that just like George R. R. Martin's imagination? I think it's pretty amazing at all that people manage to figure out that you could send messages with birds. Fantastic, sarcastic. What are homing pigeons? Are they? I'm not familiar with like types of pigeons except for the messenger ones and the fancy ones that look like they're, you know, like twice divorced. I don't know if you guys have seen that meme of like fancy birds that look like they're twice divorced and they're just like these fancy chickens or fancy pigeons and they have like collars and bell bottoms. But those are the only like fancy pigeons I know. I just like the ones outside my window, they're just like the normal gray city ones. Sometimes they're like white and speckled, but they're mostly just like this, you know, sky rat type pigeons. They actually they've already built a nest on like that side, and now they're trying to build a nest on that side, trying to get in there. Yeah, and one time like they had a nest on this side, and there were these two babies in there, and they were making all these cute noises like cheep 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 cheep, and I would look out there, and their nest is just like covered in like poop, and and then one of the babies died, and the other baby was just like standing upon the corpse of its brother, and I was like, ugh, what's wrong with you birds? You're supposed to be cute. Ugh. And then the dead one just slowly disintegrated, and the live one would just like was just like sitting there. This is an unholy bird. And the whole time I can't open my window because this thing is like dead out there and I can't reach it. I can't like safely like anyway. Sorry guys. You can tell I have issues. Oh, sorry guys. My pun detector was like overpowered by my anger at pigeons. Sorry. Normally I'm very good with puns. I promise. I'm a punster. Yeah, chrysanthemum, it's depressing. Yeah. Also, birds are the only animals in the animal kingdom where the grown-ups are cuter than the babies, and this is never more true than for pigeons. For anybody who raises baby parrots or baby birds, and they're so they're so sad and pitiful looking. Baby birds are not cute. Pigeons especially. Anyway, no more pigeon rage. I am. Whew, we'll breathe it out. We'll focus on art and drawing and beautiful pictures. And our lizard guy. We'll focus on our lizard guy, who is actually in a rage of his own because he got blasted by a Rudy poo. Sorry, let me these. Yes, fantastic, sarcastic. Baby people are definitely cute. They're definitely probably much cuter than their adult counterparts. But birds are the opposite. Why is that? They're basically little dinosaurs. They look like I don't know, little naked mole rat dinosaurs. Although I have to say, like, baby people, they are the most cute like a couple months in. When they first come out, they're kind of squishy. They're kind of squishy like little raisins. Still cute and beautiful to mama and papa, but objectively speaking, they don't turn really super cute until like 3 or 4 months old. And now that my kids are, my son is 4 and my daughter is 1. She's like 14 months, and they are so cute. Especially at just after they start walking and they're just kind of like toddling around like penguins on fat little legs. It's the cutest thing ever. Yeah, they just kind of haven't grown into their features yet. Like newborns, well, when they first come out, they've been kind of sitting in like a solution for 9 months, so they're kind of like puffy, and then after a couple days, that goes away, and then the baby acne sets in. So you might have a month where they're just kind of like they look kind of like pimply teenagers crossed with old men. But then that goes away after a month, and then when they start to grow into their features, they're super, super cute. Okay, I'm like losing my train of thought here. We're gonna put some armor on this lizard guy's arm. I could talk about babies all day. Babies are so cute. My daughter has these like, or she had before she started walking, she had these like really, really chunky legs, and my friend used to call them her croissants because they look like she's it looks like she's walking on croissants, and they're and then once they start walking, they kind of like they like their legs get longer, and they kind of they lose a lot of that chub. So her croissants are like lower fat now. Still really cute though. Nonsensically, yes, they are. All babies are beautiful. Just some stages are more beautiful than others. Also, there's definitely something about having a kid, having a baby. Like before I had my son, I used to think babies were, kind of cute, but it didn't make my heart palpitate, you know. But after having a baby, I suddenly love all babies in the world, and just seeing pictures of babies makes me go, "Oh, so sweet." You just become a kind of a universal lover of babies after you have a baby. Let me zoom out a little bit. Fantastic, sarcastic. They're not as intimidating. They're not as intimidating as you think. The first time I ever like held a proper baby, like a newborn, where I spent any significant amount of time with one was when I had mine, and I had to bring him home and figure out how to take care of him. There was a lot of YouTube involved. I'd done babysitting when I was younger, when I was in college. I'd done a lot of babysitting as a job, but the kids were always a little bit older. Like I think the youngest I ever watched was like 7 months for one afternoon. Mostly they were toddlers. So I was very intimidated when I first brought home my son, but it is not hard. Once uh once you learn, and it's really awesome. Babysitting was a really fun gig. I always liked kids. I've worked in when I was in college. I had so many different weird jobs when I was in college, but one of them was working with kids, mostly kindergartners. So I always liked kids. I just never really came across an opportunity to, you know, work with newborns or be around newborns. When I was in college, none of my friends were having kids. Actually, my husband and I were the first in our friend group to have kids, and now a bunch of our friends have kids. So we kind of like got the ball rolling on that one. But yeah, when Kit, my son, was born, like I had to watch YouTube videos about baby reflexes because I had no idea, no idea what I was doing. And now I'm an old pro. I can diaper a baby in the dark, and I do frequently. I diaper babies in the dark. Okay, fantastic, sarcastic. Point duly noted. I won't hand you my baby. No, but they're a lot of fun, especially now at this age. They're so much fun. My daughter Clara, she's just starting to get like a sense of humor, and and be really jokey and play around with her brother. And we something really funny happened the other day. We found there was a toy spider. It was like a big rubber spider. It was one of my son's toys, and she found it, and we were playing with her. We were like throwing it and being like, ah, a spider, and then she started picking it up and like throwing it at us to get us to like mock, like play Screech. And now she just likes to walk around the house throwing this spider, and she screeches. She'll be like, ah, looking around, throw the spider. It's so cute. It goes by too fast, nonsensically. I agree. I feel like she was just born like a month ago, but now she's already a toddler. That's kind of crazy. Yeah. No, it's really sweet. It's a time warp. It's like a time warp that accelerates. Oh, I will, Fantastic Sarcastic. She will be a master punster. We already have a book of dad jokes on our bookshelf, which probably needs more use if I'm totally honest. Okay, I'm gonna last we have like 20 minutes left. I'm gonna like kind of switch it up a little bit. Let's try to like get some of these Rudy Poo's blocked in a little bit better. So this is going to be the back cover. It's on the back of the book. There's my 3H. Where are you? Okay, well, we can use a 2H. Somewhere here. But 2H is good too. These creatures are described as kind of like a naked mole rat, naked mole ratty type animal, and they are easily startled. And when they are startled, they will defensively shoot out this like foul smelling ooze from these ooze volcanoes on their backs. I'm definitely going for like a scared pug vibe here. Got some chubby little arms. It's kind of a fun challenge to see if I can make this thing look like ugly and disgusting and cute at the same time. Cute slash amusing. I think we can do it. He's kind of looking a little bit like what's that character from The Simpsons? Like the little kid, Ralph Wiggum. He's Am I crazy or are you guys getting like a little Ralph Wiggum vibe here? Let's make that lower lip jut out a little bit more. Got wrinkles upon wrinkles here. Now this one. there. And we've got this little guy in the back scampering away. I actually haven't drawn this one before, so I think before I draw it on this final drawing, let me sketch him out really fast here. Helps to break down. Trying to get this guy in here, and I'm trying to figure out like where the anatomy is, and it helps to kind of draw little placeholders for like the rib cage. It would be right here, and hip joint with hip socket, bone. Hip socket would be here probably, and he's going to have. These guys have really long legs, really long muscular legs like this. Fantastic Sarcastic says, teach us a fancy art term and explain it, like stippling, so we can impress people. So that when you're at dinner parties, you can say, you know what people should do more of is stippling. I don't have the patience for stippling. What's a good fancy art term? Oh, chiaroscuro. Chiaroscuro is a fancy art term that you hear sometimes in art history class, and it refers to it's a rendering style where, you know what? I'm actually not very good at this. I don't even know that much what chiaroscuro is. I know what it looks like. Chiaroscuro is when lights, I think it's a high contrast between lights and darks. Something like that. I don't know, fantastic, sarcastic. Ask me, quiz me on something. It's hard for me to like pull something up on the fly, but if you ask me about, if you quiz me about something, I can probably tell you. This thing looks like a frog. It's so funny. There. This guy's got his hand over his face. This guy's like yeeting out of there. Here's, let me zoom out a little bit so we can see. We've only got a couple minutes left. I want to darken a little bit of this in the background so you guys can kind of see where everything is going to be. Here's the mega tree. Mega tree. And this is an island in the background. Over here we have these cliffs. It's like the characters are going down a fjord. Right? So ocean is here. Let me darken this dragon a little bit. Viridithra here in the background is just waking up. Can you guys see that? It's a little bit light. Don't ask me, fantastic, sarcastic. My memory recall is absolutely terrible at times. My like textbook knowledge of art terms is can be awful. I'm more likely to just explain it like, it's when you put the black stuff on the thingy and then it looks awesome. Like, I know how to do it, I can't really explain it. That's not entirely true, but this morning it is. I've only had a little bit of caffeine. We're gonna have these kind of hills in the background. And I had the idea also of putting a bunch of broken down ships here in the foreground, like shipwrecks, for two purposes. One is for scale, because it's really tricky having a giant tree in the background. Your brain wants to say that's a normal sized tree, and then there's like weird perspective stuff that goes on. But with low contrast, like having this thing be rendering it so that it looks like it's far off in the distance, and having all of these normal sized things around it, I can hopefully successfully pull off the illusion that this is a giant tree in the background. And also, I want it to be I want it to be obvious that the adventurers are kind of sailing towards an island of doom, and it's a little unsettling and ominous if there are a bunch of like old shipwrecks on the rocks here. So, and burned out shipwrecks, I should say. So, these they have felt the fire of the dragon. So I'm gonna put my paper here. I don't want to like smudge. And let's darken a little bit of these rocks. So I have this giant tree is going to have roots that come in and out of the earth, and it's massive. And they're also going to be, I have the idea of them being kind of coming in and out of the water like rocks themselves. Okay. How are we on time? Well, it's right. We're right on time to finish. I guess it's 10 a.m. my time. Eastern time, I guess it would be 11 p.m. Eastern time. So, good time for anybody to head to bed. My day is just getting started. Or not. Maybe it's just the start of the evening for some of you. For some of you vampires in the chat. Next time we do this stream, I'm really hoping that this drawing is going to be done, and we can start. We'll probably be working on the underpainting for the cover. So that'll be done in Photoshop. But I'll definitely, we'll look back on all the progress we've made, and I'll show you guys the finished drawing as well. So, all right, I'm gonna log off now. Thank you all for joining me again today for another super chill, relaxing stream. May your day not have pigeons in it and be full of good food and good friends. Thank you all. Good night.